Are we on? All right, thank you so much, Miss Tech Gal. All right, so everybody, welcome to session 18 of Heroes of Nessis. We're picking up from last week, but due to technical issues, it was a very short session last week. So I'm just going to recap from session 16. And there we picked up with Nia and Maxim on their way to the university, a sort of bustling city within a city. And the pair headed to the library to try to find a tome to butter up Professor Zahid. And inside, they found someone working on an enormous mural on the walls, the content of which seemed somewhat familiar to them. And after some investigation, it was realized that the mural contained the same series of images that the maid described was on the tapestry that Vesta had been weaving. So it was a recent history of the past several years, including events such as the Wilds, expeditions, the Holdra War, the rise of Elamon, the Purge, and the artist was just beginning to brush in the base of the next panel. Maxim and Nia then began to chat with the artist Francois, who had been commissioned by Elamon's mother, Vesta herself. And after speaking with the artist, the pair turned their attention to searching out a book for Professor Jahi. And Nia took the upstairs and ran into Quill, who located a decrepit book for her. They chatted for a while, and Quill shared that there are rumors of a grand party that is going to be held by Elamon. And he invited her to come with him, should such an event come to pass. Now Maxim looked downstairs, finding the restricted section, and poking around for anything remotely useful. He found a small journal filled with mad ramblings, theorizing the consequences of the corrupt use of magic. Maxim and Nia then met up again and headed for the cafe near the university, noticing that Maxim's wanted poster was missing from the message board. And so, with Quadri, he went to the Tipsy Duck to try to catch up with the others, but found them absent and decided to wander the city. Eventually, he was approached by Lucia, who asked if he had any kind of a plan yet. And she informed him of the rumors that Elamon was going to be throwing a large party. Quadri then decided to treat Lucia to lunch, and she suggested the very same cafe that Maxim and Nia had ended up at. Now, following their arrival, the party sat down to examine the book Quill had given Nia. Titled Words from the Shadows, it contained words and phrases such as darkness, corruption, we are the darkness to the light, and we are to Alther as shadow is to light. Puzzled, Maxim then asked who gave Nia the book, and she was kind of reluctant to share. And then the rumored party was then brought up again, and it was decided that infiltration of that party would be a logical step, and intercepting invitations or finding some other means to get into the castle would be a likely way to get in. And so last week, we were starting near a cafe, starting in the cafe near the university. And you guys had just been conspiring on how you might all get into the enormous party that Elamon was rumored to be hosting. So y'all need to get an invitation, or need to become a +1, or become a hired help. So Maxim and Quadri still need invites. And let's see. We had gotten to Maxim and Nia heading into Professor Jahi's classroom, and Quadri was still outside in the courtyard. So
I believe, just to jog memories, he was going to listen in on other people's conversations to see what was going on. Just kind of get this place.
Yeah.
That was the plan, yes.
Where would we like to start, I guess? With one or the other?
Well, we were starting with Maxim and Nia and Professor Jahi's classroom. As I recall, we had just gotten into that classroom, but if you're kind of out of that headspace, I get it. And if, Siler, you would prefer to start,
I'm good either way.
I'm cool with that. Kind of whoever's ready.
Sky, you good to start the moment, or do you need it?
No, I'm good to start.
All right. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So we'll pick up with Maxim and Nia. You guys had sort of swam upstream, as it were, through the class that had just been dismissed and had only just entered the classroom.
Which just is another
session before I was whisked away by the internet gods.
Is another thing I think to establish. Maxim is actually not quite going into the room. I think what he's going to do is he's going to grab a book from his bag, not one that's like anything special, but just like he's going to look like he's reading just outside the door while keeping an eye on what's going inside. And then I forget, does Nia have message as well?
No, that'd be way too useful for her.
Fair enough. So he's just gonna kind of keep a continual loop of message, holding the wire inside the book, kind of hidden in his hand, to kind of have like a basically ultimately I just want to have like a constant communication. But he's probably going to be concentrating on that spell wise unless he decides to do something else. I don't know if
Okay,
it's
cool.
something that you want
So
to
we've
allow.
got Maxim hanging out.
Sorry.
No, I'm totally cool with that. If you want to hang out, so you're hanging out in like the doorway, or just outside the classroom, like through the door.
Just outside the classroom, kind of next to the
Okay.
doorway, not like so he can see in if need be, but like he just wants to kind of look like he's innocuously leaning on a wall reading a book, not like he's listening in.
Okay. All right. Cool.
He'll keep an eye out for anybody giving him weird looks or getting suspicious or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. So you're hanging out just outside the door, trying to not look suspicious.
Don't be
Can
suspicious.
you roll me
Fair enough.
a performance check?
Performance. I can do that.
Yep.
I can do that pretty well. Let's see. Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. You are the most inconspicuous looking guy here. You are just absolutely leaning against this wall, which may or may not be a very comfortable position to read a book, but people buy it. People pass by and give you not even a second glance.
Nice.
All right, and so that leaves you, Nia, alone to face the professor, whom you've never met.
That definitely can't be the best choice, but let's go. Let's do this.
Again, he's
All right, so
basically got a
classroom-
line of communication. Sorry. Also, before we go in for this, do we want to like talk over strategy? To be kind of somewhat out of game or like on the way
That time is
there?
gone.
I mean,
Mhm.
Nah.
Y'all,
Did you
y'all have
have-
a week for this.
We have had 3 days and not done it.
I mean, we talked over a little bit of strategy. We got the
I don't even
I
think
wanna
Nia
think we
is
actually did.
fully 100% sure what she's supposed to be asking, so this is going to be loads of fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure we came up with codes, we just forgot them.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So Nia, you walk into the classroom, unless you're hanging on the doorway. Either way, the classroom is quite a spacious, small auditorium, really. Bright light shines in through the windows. There's the definite smell of candle soot and parchment and ink in the air. And there's not much sound except from what you can hear. Right behind the desk, there is an elderly man talking to someone who has their back turned to you.
Elamon.
And this person whom you can't really see their face, this person whose face you can't really see, it's a rather feminine voice, but in quite a hushed whisper. And they don't really pay you much mind as you walk in.
Okay. Walking in with book in hand, I am going to meekly make my way up.
Mhm.
Straight down the middle.
Oh. Okay. Going straight up the center?
Yep.
Also want to say that I am listening in. I'm trying. Basically, what I'm trying to do with Nessis is both be able to communicate with her while also kind of have her just project her what she's hearing, like give status reports.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. I just want to have that established.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Let's see what she says.
So Nia, as you approach, the elderly man who looks a little concerned, as you approach, you can see his face. kind of shifting between concern and sort of this attempt to stay composed. And finally, he looks past this person who's standing in front of him and looks at you and pauses the conversation. And then this person, they also turn around to see you. And you see that it is a young woman.
Mysterious woman. Oh. And I have no idea who this woman is, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I
think so. Just
get-
wanted to make sure.
With message, could I ask her to get a description so that I can make a check to see if I know? I know that might be a bit switch.
I could do like an intelligence check.
Sure,
if you
go
want me to
ahead.
see how well I can relay it back to him.
There you go. That's a good idea. Intelligence. And then
Alright.
we'll see how good her intelligence is, and then we'll have you roll a history there, Michael.
She has hair and skin.
I think this is a woman. But I'm like 60% sure though.
Did you roll low?
No, I'm just kidding. I rolled a 17.
Oh, 17.
Humanoid.
All right.
Definitely humanoid. I think
Human-esque.
2 arms, 2 legs, from what I could see.
Humanoid.
Alright.
5 people.
And with my insane history bonus, I have gotten a 25.
Okay.
And it might literally just be, I don't know
This
who
sounds
this is.
awfully familiar. Hopefully familiar, perhaps.
Oh.
Or dreadfully familiar.
Oh no.
She starts describing.
Description gets your brain a grinding and your heart a fluttering.
Uh-oh. Alright. What are they saying?
But that's what she relays to you, so... these two people are now looking at you. The woman doesn't say anything. Her expression sort of fades from this apparently disgruntled look, like she was trying to explain something, or she was frustrated about something. And the professor, he leans over. Can I help you, child?
Yeah, I'm looking for a Professor Jahi. I was told I could find him here.
Would be I. And he stands from his desk and circles around a bit. How can I help you?
I heard that you have an interest in literature. I found this book and I thought you would be interested in it. And she's gonna hold up the book.
We'll descend the steps, but pause. What is your name?
It's...
I have not seen you before.
Oh, no, I'm new.
Cover
around
story,
here.
cover story.
New around here. My name is Nia. I
Nia.
haven't started yet taking classes, but I'm trying to get myself familiarized with this school.
I see. And surely if you are new to this area, then somebody must be showing you around.
Yes. Well, kind of. I've ran into...
I'm gonna message to her in her mind. Tell them that I'm waiting outside, not who I am, and that
We can't hear this conversation.
message.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
she's
said
not
anything
talking back
to
to you.
though.
I guess, yeah. I guess that's fair. So I guess that's
Yeah, I
not
think
working.
well, I've
That's an
met,
idea. Do create an
I think
eavesdropping
2
spell
white
with
guys.
message.
But yeah, unless she said something back, which I don't think she can until you send her another message.
I'm constantly sending messages. Is what I'm trying to do. What? I don't know if that's something.
Yeah, no, she will look around a bit and then just go, well, I've met a couple people here who have helped me. I met another, I think, a professor here. He's the one that showed me the book. And I have an escort. He's my chaperone, I think. And then there's going to be a really big, help me, what do I say, coming back to you in the message.
I guess since he doesn't have the context, he's gonna send back. Jeez. What's going on? Are they questioning you at this point?
Really quickly, she's going to think back. He's asking me who's showing me around campus.
Very briefly after that, then, Maxim's gonna kind of peek his head in and see if they notice him at this point.
So you're wanting to know if they'll notice you,
or if they've already noticed me, or whether they are. I'm also looking in to see if, because she said they, and I have not noticed who they is. Actually, no, I asked for the description. Never mind. I know she's here.
You know,
Okay.
one of them.
Go ahead and roll me a quick stealth.
Stealth.
Just want to
10.
see. I mean, unless you're being like, are you trying to draw attention by looking through the door, or?
I'm kind of neutral to the drawing attention at this point because I rolled a 10. I mean, I rolled a 10, but I'm also neutral. I want to look like I'm looking in to check in,
Okay.
which is what I'm doing, which is a little weird.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
I
I'm
guess,
gonna
yeah, I
say
am
that,
trying to get their attention.
Okay. All right. So
I'm trying to get their attention, but
Professor looks
in a way that
to
makes
the
it look like
door.
I'm not trying to get their attention. I'm sorry.
And he will point. Is that your chaperone?
She looks a little uncertain, but she will
Say yes.
nod her head.
Messages.
Yes. Yes, that's him.
I see. And I have not seen him
I'm
before.
sorry
but
about that.
Then again, I do not know every student on a personal basis.
Maxim, because he is disguised, will walk in and say, sorry about that. Some of the professors like to get a good first impression without having a chaperone accompanying the student, so I just figured I'd give it a shot. Seems that might have been a bit of a miscalculation.
Yes. Not a miscalculation at all, just curious. And he turns back to Nia. Now, dear child, you said that you brought me a book. I am quite fond of literature, after all, and he takes out a pair of spectacles and puts them on delicately.
Yeah, I did. And she is going to hold out the book for him to inspect.
I am just going to roll a performance check
And
for
as he-
myself. Sorry. You can finish.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just going to roll a performance check because he is feeling uncomfortable, but I want to see whether he is displaying that he's feeling uncomfortable because he's trying not to very much. Trying to act all cool and suave and all that. That was a 16 plus 7, so pre-23. Pretty decent.
Okay. No one suspects that it's you. All right. And so the professor, he will take the tome from Nia, and he'll instantly crack it open his brows knitting together as he flips through the pages, squinting to read the faded handwriting. And he'll look sharply at Nia. Where did you find this?
In the library?
She wanted to stop by before coming to visit you.
And he'll squint at you, Maxim. I asked, where did you find this? If you are not familiar with our library here, miss, then how did you find this?
I found it in the library. I was
I'm
told you would.
gonna message. You just found it perusing.
I was told that you enjoyed old books, so I was looking for one that fit that taste.
Certainly does. But... And he glances to the woman behind him. This is quite interesting, given our recent situation. And turning to the woman only, you may inform His Majesty, the Prince, that I will be in attendance. I will not fail. And the woman just nods. Well, that's good. I'll be sure to let him know. You know, he always enjoys seeing you. And she'll just start right down the middle, walking past you guys.
I think he's trying to give it a straight look, but I think Maxim kind of breaks and just kind of flicks his eye for a moment to see whether she's looking at him at all, or just look at her to see what's going on in her face.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she is looking you up and down as she approaches both of you, kind of studying you.
Can I make an insight check to see what she's kind of like, what assumptions she's kind
Sure.
of making? Whether she kind of looks like annoyed this guy came in, or like curious, or like
Go ahead.
investigative. This would be insight, right?
Yep.
Okay, +5.
Insight.
12. Not great.
12. You can't really tell what's going on in her face exactly. The expression that she seems to be, or the emotion that she seems to be exuding would be something just like suspicion and a little bit untrusting.
Yeah. Interesting.
Like, you two seem a curious pair, considering she's never seen you there before. So it's this instant sort of mistrust and suspicion as she heads for the door. But
All right.
just before she reaches the door, something flutters from her pocket, and she doesn't notice.
Was we be like, I assume a distance away enough that like if I lean down to pick it or take a look, like Jahi would definitely notice?
Yes.
Okay.
Picked it up,
Nonetheless,
Jahi would certainly notice.
I am going to go and pick it up to take a look at it.
Okay. So the piece of paper, it seems rather crinkled, a little beaten up, and it's folded up. I imagine you unfold it.
Uh, y- yes, but with my back to Jahi, so he doesn't. And I'm trying to hide it so it doesn't. He doesn't see me. Like put my body in between me and it.
Mm-hmm. So what you see when you open up the piece of paper is you.
Hmm,
It is assumably, the missing wanted poster from outside,
interesting.
but it's been very carefully, just the picture of you has been very carefully cut out. Any of the like wanted or information is gone, so it's just the picture of you.
Uh, is she still like just outside the door?
Yes, she
I'm
is now heading outside.
I'm gonna quickly fold the piece of paper back up, in the same like way that it was before, like going for the same
Mm-hmm.
creases and all that. I'm gonna uh
Yeah.
kind of call to her, Miss. You I think you dropped this.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna get caught.
All the way. I mean, not by the old guy. The old guy's
What
blind as
voice?
shit.
I no, I'm doing this in the fake voice, not the Maxim voice.
Okay.
The
Just
one that
making
I
sure.
yes yes.
Yeah.
Miss?
Yeah.
No, not the Maxim voice.
Yes.
Did I accidentally slip into the Maxim voice there?
Yeah,
It's okay. It's
Okay.
okay. Just
Okay,
just
I'm sorry. I thought I was
just
doing
go off
the
the
just roll with
hours
it.
on this. You
I
can
know
do
what
it.
you're trying to
Believe me.
convey.
I think you this slipped from your pocket.
And as soon as she sees it, she like just nabs it. Thanks. Um, you didn't. Never mind. And she instantly tucks it back into her robe, which notably is not white like the white cloaks. It is a purple robe, which would indicate service to the royal family.
Interesting. Um hmm. Man, I want to say something, but I don't know. uh
She's about to turn you in. You don't know. She could be like itching to kill you. She could. She might be adding that to a board that's like her dartboard, her target.
what she's taking it home so that she can throw daggers at it.
Yes, the old one has gotten too much, too destroyed.
Um
Is there something else I can help you with?
he, uh he's gonna I think he does pause for a moment. Kind of Maxim is kind of just unsure of what to say in the moment because there's a lot of stuff going through his head. Uh, you're just you a student of his, or are you? I don't think I
No,
haven't
I graduated.
been in a long time. That makes sense. Um, I
I'm working for Prince Elamon now.
hmm, what is it that you do, if I may ask? Certainly seem like a high up,
Well,
important member.
I am a go-between from his council room to the university.
Hmm,
One of several.
a messenger.
And as she says this, she looks a little sad as she says that.
Hmm. I'm sure it's got its ups and downs. Are we? Like,
It
I assume
does.
we're like in the back in the hallway, kind of with this, because I think I kind of ran
Yeah,
after a
you'd
little
be
bit.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you'd be out in the courtyard. Actually, I'm gonna switch over to that here quick.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So your job now entails of running all between different professors, telling them uh, the latest news.
I summoned them
Hmm.
on Elamon's behalf, Prince Elamon's behalf.
Hmm. Sounds to me maybe not what you expected.
It's every bit of what I expected. And she puts on this smile that seems maybe just a little forced. Well, if you have nothing more, thank you for this. And I really should be on my way.
Can I roll a bit of an insight check on that smile to kind of see like she seemed like pained by her position, or is it like she was hoping for greater things, or like she doesn't like she kind of hates that she's doing
Go
this?
ahead and roll.
All right.
You know, actually, you've already given me a good roll.
Hmm?
You can
Okay.
read her pretty well, and especially given your history. She does seem a bit forlorn. Like she's eager to, like she doesn't want to necessarily talk about her job, or what it's like. She's just ready to move on and not discuss it. Maybe even just a little tinge of shame in there.
Hmm. Shame. Interesting. I think with that, as she's kind of
Mm-hmm.
beginning to walk away, he'll kind of not too loud, but loud enough that she can hear. Maybe we'll see each other again. There's this. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll to see whether he finishes the
Mm-hmm.
sentence. Oh wow, that's actually uh maybe we will see each other again. There's a lovely cafe just down the road. Don't know if you've been before.
Did you say the cafe? That cut out for
Yes.
me.
Yeah, he mentioned the cafe before. He mentioned maybe we'll see each other again, and then he brought up the cafe. He's gonna finish it with uh I want to roll a history check to see what her favorite item was when they visited.
Mm, Your history check has been pretty good. Her favorite thing was the matcha latte.
They've got a. I've heard that they've got a wonderful matcha latte that I think you might be suited for.
It's funny you say that like you know me. My favorite. I used to get it there all the time, but I don't have as much time as I would like.
Hmm.
But maybe we will see each other again.
Maybe.
But I really must be going.
Got things to do and
Nice,
ever busy.
yes. But it was nice to meet you. And maybe I will find a quiet moment to get that matcha.
Well, I
And then
certainly
she
hope that you
just
enjoy it.
starts down the path.
I think he stares back, kind of not really certain how that's all gonna pan out, but I think he kind of watches kind of as she walks away and then just kind of like hangs his head a little bit, kind of thinking back, and then kind of heads back towards the room to check back in. Hopefully everything's going fine. They'll
Oh, if you want to try to chase after her, you can chase after her. But we'll, we ought to jump back with Nia
Like
here.
Nia's been captured.
no, I don't think he's gonna chase after her because we're a bit busy at the moment. And I've already
Busy
been
also-
gone probably longer than I should have been.
Mhm.
I'm starting to wonder where the anger went, because every time you talked about her, it sounded like it was a bad breakup. But this just sounded like you guys had to go to different colleges.
This is also him keeping his cool and also seeing
Love
her again.
hurts. Love
It's a
kills.
different sort of experience, I think, for him. I do think that he does have a bit of a look of confusion on his face as he comes back.
If you were expecting to go super pissed off, and instead you just want to like, nope, let's not.
Well, he also can't lose his cool at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's
Also,
in
he's
disguise.
expecting-
He could go off on her for anything and just walk away and switch disguises. That is the best use of magic I'd ever see. Just go up, be a stranger, be a complete just dick, and then just come back to someone else. And then just introduce yourself again. Say, hey, that guy was a dick. My
I'll
name
let you
is...
contemplate.
Yeah.
I'll let you contemplate, Maxim, if you want to do that or not. But let's catch up with Nia here while you guys were out there. So, let's see. Nia, you had handed the book to Jahi. He was curious as to where you got it. You had been explaining. Okay, yeah. So Jahi is now flipping through the book a bit more fervently and looks you up and down. There must have...
Fidgets uncomfortably.
Mm-hmm.
You gave him like a +3 grimoire that should have been under lock and key, but a new, not even student yet was able to find it and hand it to him.
This is truly something. In all my years combing the library, never have I found such a thing as this. And he just sets it on his podium with just this sort of reverence as though it were a holy book. And he sighs. And then he just snaps back instantly and tears off his glasses and then leans over the podium. You're not... Are you from Erebon?
No, I'm not from...
Please tell me, you
Erebon.
are not from Erebon.
No, not from him, no.
How do I know that I can trust you, child?
I don't think I have... She's gonna start like looking through her pockets to see if she has anything to show him. You can trust me. Whatever it is.
Then tell me who that was who came with you. There seemed to be a protection. Something greater than just a chaperone.
I mean, I don't know all of the details myself, but I know he wants to help people.
Wants to help. That's so vague. I am going to take a risk. I'm going to say that I trust you for now. But you should know, child, that this is an important book that I believe you have brought to me. This, and he taps it, this could very well be the key to this whole mess. The purge, the darkness, the corruption. The dark use of the magic could be the key to everything. Yes, the corruption of not only the prince, but also of his plans, the people, the country, the magic itself. It is all being tainted. And it all stems from something much greater, child.
And this
We
book,
cannot know for certain.
this book has the answer?
From what I can see so far and what little I can read, it says, we are to alter as shadow is to the light. This could very well be a sort of entity gaining life, ideas, a consciousness. Have you ever been to the wilds, child?
Uh,
He starts to
Uh,
rummage through this shelf full of specimens as he waits
is
for your answer.
is he looking at her?
He is not. He is too busy looking at a shelf currently.
Okay, good, because she immediately looks very uncomfortable. The wilds?
Yes,
Why
yes, child. Have you ever been?
why do you ask?
Because we never had such a problem with this corruption of the magic until the wilds opened up and Inga stole the powers of Cephas. And he turns around dramatically, holding a jar of what looks like black fungus. We never had such a problem until Cephas, the strength and the magic of a god, was stolen and used by Inga. And I believe, finally, when she was defeated, it was as if all the malice built up in her use of the magic, that it released and created the potential for something great, something just as powerful as a god, but darker, twisted, the opposite of the divine.
that's not good.
How much does that correlate with what I know of the events that took place?
So you would have known that you probably would have even maybe witnessed Inga and this ceremony by which she tricked Cephas into sort of giving over his power to her. She tricked him with this sob story of wanting to get revenge and do good. And since he is the god of justice, and he's usually a quite um, benevolent god, you would have probably seen him give in and give in gladly. But with that giving in, he unintentionally was drained of all his power. So you would have known that to be true. You also would have known it to be true that Inga rose to power and she uh, immediately attacked the world outside the wilds, attacking Osni and Shaor specifically. You would have known that to be true, and then you would have known, of course, the battle by which she died. You would have known that there had been a great red light when she was defeated, and that it was a very strange and sudden defeat. So this is overall what Professor Jahi is telling you. It is ringing a bell. It's there are clear connections to be made to what you've experienced.
And if I may ask, 'cause I don't know if we went into too much detail with it, um, and if you want to type it out to me, I don't know if it's something that's secret, but was there a motive that she gave to the people that were fighting alongside her to fight for her?
Yes. So generally, Inga was part of a all-female league, and she had once been the sort of war lady, the queen of another tribe, and this man basically betrayed her once he no longer needed her and rendered her powerless. And so she spent ages trying to figure out how she could get her power back or become even more powerful to then take revenge on not only that warlord who betrayed her, but the rest of the male-run world, basically. She was motivated by extreme wrath,
Okay.
basically. And so she generally found women who had either been enslaved or women who wanted to escape arranged marriages. She would have sort of picked up this very loyal group of women who had either had broken lives or otherwise um, just needed a safe place to belong. And Inga sort of fed into that.
Okay. I see. I see. Um.
Yep.
Yeah, Nia is
And I
looking
can type that
very.
out later again too.
No, I think I'll be fine. I think I got it. I'm taking notes too. I think Nia looks
Okay.
very uncomfortable during this whole spiel of Inga causing this black dark magic to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but if that was the case, then what happened to Inga then?
Who knows? She might have very well been only a vessel, just exploded, per se, to make way for a new consciousness. I mean, this is just a theory, of course. I used to write in little journals all the time, theorizing that this could maybe happen. Never in all my life, all my years, would I have believed that this could become reality. And yet, it seems it has. So I ask again, child, have you been to the wilds? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, I have been to the wilds and I do understand what you're saying, but how does this book help the situation now?
This book, I cannot really say its origins, but it's as if it was written by devils or ancient demons, long thousands of years ago, vanished from our world. Seems as though it could have been written by them. And perhaps only now have they been released, only now have they been able to creep back into our world in order to become one entity. A legion united in one consciousness. I cannot be certain, but that's what it would seem to be. Then he starts just mumbling to himself and continuing to flip through the pages, sort of thinking out loud and making little theories as he goes.
Well, is there anything we could do to stop this collective, this consciousness?
Fight it? I remember writing that the only way to stop such a thing would be to fight it. Ah, how vague. But it is the source. There must be a source where all this is coming from. If you can find where all these events seem to come together and make sense and destroy it, I would think that could at least hinder its development.
So we need to find the source and destroy that. And then that should clear up this dark magic that's infecting the world.
Like I said, it's a theory. I can't help but to wonder. And he hops down from his podium. I can't help but to wonder what the royal family is hiding. Elamon, he was nothing. He was the second son of Uthos, the second prince. He had no standing hardly whatsoever compared to his brother. And then all of a sudden he becomes a prince. He becomes a ruler of this great nation. And everyone bows to his will. It just doesn't seem to add up, does it? It's happened so fast. If you look at all of history, child, these things happened over decades and centuries. And here, all this has happened in but 5 years. 5 years.
Do you think the source has something to do with this? That they might know where that is?
I would guarantee it.
Is there any way we can get that information from the royal family?
Well, have you heard that there's going to be a party? Prince Elamon he's summoned even I to come to this party.
Yes, there's talk about it going on campus.
Well, that may very well be a key to, well, having an excuse to be near the family. Have you an invitation to get in?
We are in the process of getting our invitations sorted.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
If you
Very well.
happen to have an extra one,
They're not there.
that would benefit us greatly.
I assume then that neither you or your friend has an invitation.
I have an invitation as a +1 to someone else, but my friend does not.
I see. Well, then you may tell your friend that he can come along with me.
Oh boy. Fair enough, though. Yeah.
She will nod her head. Thank you. Is there something I could do to repay you for that?
I'm sorry, that broke up on me. Is there what?
Is there something I could do to repay you for that invitation?
No, child. Nothing whatsoever. I will ask, though. You must be discreet. I can't have people knowing that you know that I know. That we think we know what is happening. As if this is up to the royal family, this could mean... And he makes a cutting motion across his neck. Mean the
Her
death of
eyes.
the soul.
Her eyes go wide for a split second, but she nods her head eagerly. No, I understand. I don't have many people I would speak about this to anyways, but yeah, I get it.
Good. Very good. And we are tis settled then. Once I receive the exact date, I will be sure to inform you and your friend. And we will see what we can make of this. And we'll look out for you at the party. And perhaps you can discover what is happening. And then all this can finally be put to rest. but I mustn't get ahead of myself. And I'm sure you have other professors to see, other things to see, other places to go. And he starts sort of like gently patting you towards the door. Much to think on, much to meditate.
I mean, yeah,
Any more
yeah,
plans to
sure.
make?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Thank you.
No, it is I who must thank you, Nia. You have been most helpful. This great inspiration. I've not had this in years. Thunk, and then he closes the door. And you're back out in the
When
courtyard.
did I get out? Oh, okay. Looking around for Maxim.
He's gonna betray us so fast. No one should be that helpful. You're
Right?
getting set up.
100%.
Yeah, I'm assuming that like Maxim's like standing there. It's like, what's going on? What was his grand inspiration?
I got you a +1 invitation to the party.
Really?
You'll be Professor Jahi's date. And they're just gonna quickly start walking away.
What? First of all, I don't think it's considered a date. But so many other questions first.
But that's what she went to first.
So there's a lot of questions. The first one's about just like the verbiage.
Going as a random person, how much are you investing into this?
Invest like putting into what? What do you mean by this?
Their +1 is you in disguise, so you could make this person anything.
Well, he did already see.
Yeah, he saw him already.
This
in his disguise.
This disguise. Yeah, no, I'm also. I'll share what's going on with. I don't think I've actually shared her name yet, Caroline. And then, are you sharing about everything that went down with Shahi?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
All right.
intriguing because that might mean that he could be a very valuable ally, but it might also mean that might definitely possibly betray us as well.
He's the best shot we have right now.
I don't disagree.
Not what we want.
Beggars can't exactly be choosers. But we might, depending on what comes up with Quandary, we might be able to, might say that, and I don't feel like this matter is yet resolved. Did you ask him about the tapestry?
Her eyes go wide.
Oh, that's what what I was supposed to be doing.
Oh, that's right. We can get close to the royal family at the party, is what he said.
That's curious, but I suppose not untrue.
Yep. Now, if you'll excuse me, she's gonna start walking away because now she feels bad because she forgot the main part of the mission.
Yeah.
You can always try to go back in there.
Oh no, she's gonna go to the library.
Just because he pushed you out the door doesn't mean you can't go back in.
No, if you heard locks on that
just
door,
saying.
chains.
Well, I think,
He's got
assuming that you
traps.
said everything, I assume that probably also means the fact that he doesn't even know the date that the party is going to be, so we still got to figure that, deal with that. But I guess, do we want to see what Quandary's been up to?
Yeah.
All right, so Quandary, what are you up to? So this would be where we're at with you. About this time, Nia and Maxim would have gone into Professor Jahi's classroom, and currently you are in the courtyard, There's a fountain going. The fountain, I also forgot to mention, does have an image of Cephas with a set of scales and a sword, the god of justice, sitting up on this fountain. And there are two white cloaks sitting by the fountain, chatting. Looks like they're poring over a book. There are several people scattered about, and one messenger boy who has just run past you. He has a parchment tightly gripped in his hand, and he is running just opposite from you. You haven't seen which direction he's going yet.
That's too well detailed to not be something.
I'm sorry, that broke up on me. What'd you say?
Just a second.
Yep.
Isn't that? So, as I look for all these people that I immediately believe I'm going to go and try and smooch talk to,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately turn around and I'm just going to start following this kid at a respectable distance of maybe 20, 25 feet.
Okay. So this boy, he runs over the fountain, jumps across the water, almost falls in, and he's huffing and puffing and making his way over to this dapperly dressed gentleman who's walking out of the library currently. Or no, that's the office, I'm sorry. He's walking out of the office. This boy runs right up to this man, trying to catch his breath, and he's like, "My lord, my lord Griffin, there's a letter for you, sir. An invitation from the castle. Prince Elamon summons you to a party in 3 days hence, a masquerade ball." And he hands out the letter. And this man, he rather snobbishly looks at the child and curtly takes the letter before unfolding it. Snobbishly. Sorry. Came out wrong.
It feels appropriate, though, for this guy. Schnob. What a
You
schnob
can
end.
feel that arrogance just rolling off him, can't you?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. And he unfolds the letter, and then, as the child is still standing there catching his breath, the Lord Griffin, and he just frowns. "And what are you still doing here, boy?" "Yes, sir. I'll be going now. Good day." And the boy just starts walking, this time slowly, back down the path, still trying to catch his breath. What are you doing, Quadri?
I'm just keeping my distance from this person, and now I'm just watching them to see what any other reaction to this. They're going to continue to read the letter? Are they just going to toss it in the trash? Are they just going to pop it and go?
Yeah. And so the Lord, he has a rather a delighted, rather pleased expression on his face. He gently sort of tucks at his cravat and strokes the feather in his cap as he reads the letter and examines it as if he's like, okay, quality of the parchment, quality of the ink, he is just studying every aspect of this letter.
All right, I see this, and I just immediately send
very
my
respectfully
raven
tucking it away
to spy.
Does he call it macaroni? Sorry.
So you're sending the raven to spy. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. And so this gentleman, he tucks the letter away, and with a bit of an arrogant sniff, he starts to walk towards the office doors. And just as he is walking towards the doors, someone is walking out.
Is it
And
she?
as these, that is a he. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a he you should be recognizing, Maxim. But either way.
Ah.
Um,
Ah.
so when these two sort of cross on the stairs, they both glare at each other. And the red-haired man, he pauses and with a very soft and scholarly voice, he says, "Well, I imagine we'll be seeing you at the party," as he points to the letter that's being tucked away. And Lord Griffin, he smiles this rather just nasty smile, one that indicates almost a sort of a triumph. But of course I will. See, you're not always going to be the favorite, Thalen. You may be for now, but that can always change. And he just sort of flicks his hair and keeps on walking. And the red-haired man, he just... Huh?
Yep, perfect. Done.
Oh, are you talking to somebody, Siler? Hello? Audrey?
Yeah, still here. Just that noise in the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, the red-haired man, he continues on his way down the path, and that comment from Lord Griffin seems to have really just miffed him. And so he sits down over here at this picnic table and just kind of sits quietly for a moment, head in his hands, with a very pensive and kind of expressionless face.
Alright, that seems interesting. I'll go over and approach.
Are you doing anything yet, or do you want me to continue?
I'm going to go and approach.
Who are you approaching?
Sorry, I forgot I muted myself while I was talking. I'm approaching a man that he just passed. We just had that conversation with.
Mm-hmm. The red-haired man or the dark-haired man? Alan or Lord Griffin?
And Lord Griffin is still being followed by the Raven. Just going to try and have a quick conversation with the new red-haired gentleman.
Okay, a conversation with the red-haired gentleman. So how do you approach?
With the last bit of eyesight I have for my bird before he starts following him off, I'm just going to normally just walk. And essentially, this whole time I've just been doing my whole blind man thing with, like, the old walking stick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just essentially approach him like I'm going to talk to him.
So as you approach, this man does not look up. He's just sitting there quietly and thinking. And he apparently seems very lost in thought, where he does not notice you as you approach.
It's always good to appreciate.
I'm sorry, what?
It's not safe to let yourself drift too deep in thought. You leave yourself very open. 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 You leave yoursel
Now this does gain his attention as he looks up. You intend to read my thoughts then?
Well, I don't need to read thoughts. Just listen. Listening is enough.
Well, I'm sorry to say, but I don't think I should allow you to be privy to my thoughts. They are my own concern, just as I'm sure you have yours. Is there something you want, sir? And he examines you. What's the state of your clothing, Quadri?
The fun thing is I can make myself look good as new. Prestidigitation will be great. Cantrip.
So you have made yourself look good? Or
Very presentable. Yes.
okay. Do I know you from somewhere, good sir?
Oh no, I frequent the city when I can, but I'm not a local. Uh, as I tend to do my work on the road for the most part.
And what is that work?
Assistance when needed.
Assistance when needed. Tell me then, are you some mercenary? Or perhaps a traveling translator, a librarian? That's how my father started out.
I've done both of those things, and a bit more. As I said, consultant seems to encompass all I need, and even make room for some more if I need to expand.
Well, I'm afraid I have no specific work for you, sir. I'm not sure if you know who I am, but there is no lack of attendants, nor advisors, nor counselors, nor footmen, nor servants, nor scullery maids. There's no lack of any such help to be had. My troubles are mine alone, and only I can solve them.
That's just a bit disappointing. All that help, but you won't accept any of it. That's a sad world.
I was not born into privilege. It is something that I'm not terribly accustomed to, and it's not something that I really need.
Well, you don't do it because you need it, you do it because they need it. I'm sure those people you employ are grateful for that employment. I'm sure someone who was brought up, as you said, could easily fend for themselves if they wish, but the situation demands the presence or the appearance, or the fact that you should employ some ridiculous number of people to help you do a task you alone could do.
Indeed. What is your name, sir?
Before dry, you'll be fine.
Audrey. Interesting name. I can't say as I've ever heard it before.
Well, I've never been one to try and get fame, infamy, and whatnot. I just travel and help whenever I hear I might be of service. And sometimes I'm not.
Well then,
And then I simply go.
well, I personally do not need help with any particular thing, but is there something that you need assistance with?
For the time being, no, I've only recently come back to the city and started my walkabout. Choosing to test myself at one of the local establishments later tonight, but for the most part, my days are free, so I travel and keep an ear out.
Hmm. Keep an ear out for loose information. I'm sure.
Oh,
Near out
depends on what's needed.
for some way to get into the capital, perhaps? To get to Elamon, perhaps?
I'll be honest, I've only heard inklings. I can't honestly say I'd know anything about the man. You can only truly know someone when you meet them, get to know them. The stories can be as grand as the meaning as one hears. Anything can be true, nothing of it can be guaranteed, not unless you know them.
That is unfortunately quite true, and especially for him.
You know, it tends to happen when the further up the top you go, everyone wants to know a version of you, or they'll make up their own.
Right. Well, if you're looking to gain information that you are not privy to, through listening to sob stories or listening to woes of poor, unfortunate favorites slipping down the ladder, you're not going to find that here. So I would suggest, sir, that you move along.
I'll keep the ear out. I do hope you have a better day. You seem so focused on the negative in the world. It's a shame to see someone see life through such a lens. But can't be the only one you're allowed to look through. He'll start making his way where he heard, where he'll have his bird start calling on it, so he'll know which way to turn and start walking.
Okay. And where do you want to start walking? By now, the messenger boy has made it over to this little group of people, and he's delivering another invitation to this lady in a large fashionable hat
Right now,
and this
I
professor
sent
here.
I sent my raven to follow Griffin, so right now I'm literally flying blind. So I'm literally listening out for conversation as I try and make my way through this now blank map.
Okay, all right. So then, if you're listening through the Raven and watching through the
No, no.
Raven's eyes,
The Raven is gone. The Raven is currently gone. Their current thing is following Griffith just to see where he ended up. Right now, I am literally blind and just listening to see if I hear any
yeah,
conversations.
okay. So you're out of range of your Raven then?
No, he has 5 miles, but I'm not trying to listen to him. I'm just trying to go about the square as I remember it.
Okay, all right. So, yeah. Okay, so from where you would be at, which is approximately over here, you would hear a bit of conversation between these three, well, I guess these four people now. There's the messenger boy, the apparent noble lady, the professor, and the drow girl. And this drow girl is, she seems quite distressed as she is talking to the professor. Um, she seemed to won't. She can't shut up about her paper. She's like, Professor, I need to know what is wrong with this paper. I don't understand. And the professor is just reading over a letter, just nonchalantly listening to her. But my dear, you mustn't worry. You you think too much. I swear you need a good drink. You need to go to a tavern and just have a little fun. But Professor, I'm here to be a student, and if I go out drinking, then I'll my grades will plummet, and then I won't get a job, and then I'll die in a gutter. And he's just like, you need to calm down, dear girl. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I can bring someone with me to this party. How about I bring you along? Well, if you help me with my paper, very well, good girl. Very well. And so that little exchange is happening. And the little boy, little messenger boy, he's coming up to this noblewoman, and he calls her Lady Rose. Lady Rose, there's a letter for you from the prince, specifically the invitation to a masked ball party 3 days hence. And you are to make sure you arrive in costume. Yes, that's it. And the woman just smiles at the boy, and she gives him a tip of 1 gold coin. And very pleased with this, the boy walks away. And the woman just quietly opens her invitation. So that's what you overhear there.
Alright, and just sifting through all that information, but like going through it if I can only hear things. So, I had an argument between two people who's a student and a teacher. And then it seems like she somehow found a way to get to the ball. So I'm feeling confident that if I just keep randomly walking around with people, eventually I'm just going to get invited to this thing. Next, I'll overhear the messenger boy again. I'll try and make my way blind roughly within that area. Supposed to listen to my if delivery's been made, but I don't really hear anything else. So I suppose I'll just walk my way that way and see if I garner anyone's attention while I walk in that direction.
Okay, and since you are blind, I'm going to need you to roll me a... what kind of check would this be? I suppose a perception check to see how well you navigate walking towards this direction completely blind without the help of your raven friend.
Oh yeah, no, this is something I practice. I do have a cane that it's actually just a long sword, but it's, well concealed. Now let's see, perception use that.
Yep.
That makes total sense. I'm blind, so should this be a disadvantage?
Well, you said you practiced this, so it can just be regular.
All right.
Unless you want to choose to fail.
I think I take the disadvantage just because I'm blind normally, so this is not I know how to not trip over my own self, but I'm still just walking around trying not to bump into someone while going in a general direction. Either way.
What was your roll, good sir?
That was a 5 minus 4, so 4. So how as bad or as funny or as whatever you'd like this to be, because that's under a 5. You can do as you will.
Okay, so as you're trying to walk to this general area, you're not really too familiar with this area, so you kind of find yourself wandering a bit more this way towards the fountain, and you must not be keeping quite a good enough ear out as you find yourself suddenly colliding with someone. And you end up head first, head over heels, into the fountain. And there's just a loud oof! What do you do? Tyler? Padre?
Right now, so I just had to go through my quick list of responses when I bumped into someone pretending to be blind. Let me just roll this real quick. It's only a quick 4, ranging from. Oh, okay, that's a 2. That's more on the general lines of confusion. A 1 would have been a horrible threat. to like direct it to anything in the air. Cool. All right. How deep is this water, and how cold is it?
Given that it's like late winter, the water is quite cold, but it's only about 1.5 feet deep.
Yeah, half feet. That's enough for me to go fully submerged and then pop back up, right?
Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Right. Now, as far as I can remember, I did remember seeing a pair of white cloaks around here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they will probably question why I can do magic.
So you just okay, so you just fell in and popped up. And as soon as you do, you'll hear 2 sounds of footsteps circle around to then suddenly grab you and set you up on the edge of the fountain. Are you all right, sir? Are you all right, sir? And then suddenly you'll hear a rustle of fabric and a female voice adds, "Are you all right, sir? I'm so sorry. I wasn't looking where I was going."
Sorry, I got called away.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to repeat that?
No, still listening to everything. Sorry, just 2 minutes. I have to take out some trash.
Oh, okay. All right. Potty break for everybody.
I'm actually good at the moment.
Well, that's good. I'm having a fun time. I'm finally diving into accents a bit more. I don't know why it's taken me so long. Actually really start doing some accents consistently. Yeah. But so far, I'm surprised no one's broken out into a fight yet.
Well, the 2 of them, like 2 of us at least know better. One of us
Arguable.
is 50-50, depending on like if I'm approached by an aggressor, it's going to happen. If I'm not, I can stumble my way through this pretty well. I hope. But like I know these guys are like they had a mission and they had a plan and everything and they've accomplished it. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out if I'm going to cast magic because I can or can't remember if there are people actually like police here to tell me, hey, you're using magic. Are you like allowed? Like I don't need because if they come up to check, I don't have the papers. I don't believe. Did I get them? Because I honestly can't remember if I got the documents for it. Okay.
There he is.
Okay, sorry about that. Right here.
Oh, yep, we're here. Ready to roll?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So just to recap here, the 2 white cloaks, they came around and picked you up and set you on the edge of the fountain, and then the lady that you collided with, she picked herself up and ran up to you to ask if you're okay.
Fine. Terribly sorry.
No, it was completely my fault. I wasn't looking where I was going. And she notices the scars on your face.
About that, I've had more practice at it than you have. I probably should have been able to do it better.
I see, but no, I don't mean to be rude.
No,
Are you all right?
I'm alive. Just cold.
Of course you are. Please, would you like to go inside and warm up?
If it's not too much of a trouble.
Of course, not at all. I have no engagements. Please, let's take you inside. And, yes. And we can find something something that's not sopping wet. And she'll sort of lead you back towards the library, taking your hand to guide you. Library map. There it is. And here you go.
I remember. I'll just ask. Once we're in the library, and I have no idea where's she taking me.
She's taking you to the library to try to warm up.
She's kidnapping you.
I mean, I'm assuming this, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, because I've been taken to a secondary location. I know I'm dead.
She'll just simply walk you over to a table and sit you down, and there'll be a rustling of fabric again as she attempts to sort of wriggle you out of your cloak, and she places, assumably, her cloak over your shoulders, which is nice and dry and quite luxurious.
I'll just ask if I can quietly. Are we alone, or are there any other people around?
Actually, I should move these guys out of here. As far as I can tell, there's only us.
Then please let me keep you from obtaining something that I'm sure is far too good for me. And I'll cast prestidigitation to both dry myself and clean the cloak she gave me before I attempt to hand it back to her. Just like doing the very broad random, trying to hand it to her, but just doing a general scan of the area because I don't know exactly where she is.
And she'll reach out and take it gently. Are you a white cloak, sir? Or perhaps a professor?
Oh no.
No? Then what are you doing?
Living my life, so far as I can tell.
Living your life openly is quite dangerous these days, you know. I shan't breathe a word but...
He's going to chuckle while he kind of crinkles his own eyes.
What? What's so funny about that?
Ah, danger exists with or without my shriek. This didn't points to his eyes. This didn't happen because of what I was born with. It just happened because of the life I was leading.
Doesn't sound like a very good one.
Some might not think it, but I slept well at night, and I was proud of what little I could do. Not everyone's going to agree with me, obviously, but you know.
I suppose not. Either way, I am terribly sorry about this whole inconvenience. Is there anything I might do for you? I mean, I can get you a decent place to stay, a warm meal.
I have that.
I have.
I've got all that covered. I'm honest. I'm new to the city. I'm here maybe a day or maybe 7 days. I'm just exploring it for a bit. I'm only going to be here for a few more days, more than likely before I'm
Oh,
off again. I was just hoping to hear the sights, as it were.
oh well, there's certainly plenty to see. I I see. Yes, I see. But you can't. Of course, not of course, but yes. I wish you could see how grand this university is.
Give me an hour. Well, actually, in the university, probably best to not.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Like I said, we all have our tricks. I don't do this openly. That's why I asked. And I do have a friend who does lend me their site on the occasion.
Oh, what do you mean by a friend?
We
A seeing dog, perhaps.
are we still alone? Hello?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, everything went kind of silent for a bit, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Did you ask again if they were alone?
Yeah, they were still more or less alone.
Yes. And she said yes.
Okay, then he will again call back his familiar to him, and the raven will he'll essentially clap
Okay.
his hands, and it'll just look like he's holding up like a little palm of feathers that'll eventually start moving, and there's his raven.
Fantastic. My goodness, I wonder how you mages do this kind of thing. It always has fascinated me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't take that credit. This, if I'm explaining it correctly, and I'm honestly not sure I am, is a borrowed gift.
Borrowed. From whom?
Hmm, I don't know. I don't know if you believe me, but well, I didn't. This isn't the result of study or learning or the natural magic that flows in the blood from some great ancestor or source. Um, Someone with a bit more oomph granted me this as a favor.
What, did one of the gods grant you such a favor?
Just stay silent.
You're not serious, are you?
You remember the part where I said you wouldn't believe me?
Yes, of course I do.
See if that plays out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Padre. Oh, wait, I haven't asked for your name yet. No. Well, I'll tell you what. I should very much like to believe what you've just told me, but unfortunately, I'm not a child anymore, and I don't believe in such fancies. I mean, I know that Cephas was spotted before, but you're really telling me one of the gods gave you a bird so that you could see.
That was more perk. They brought me back to life when I was dead.
Oh. Well, if nothing else, you make a very good storyteller, sir.
I've heard that once or twice. You should hear the one.
Is that why you're here?
Sorry, please go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, you should hear the one about the. Well, no, this wouldn't even be a place to start. A ridiculous rescue, an infiltration turned rescue turned hijacking, involving a brothel, a ship, a slaver, and a resistance.
That sounds absolutely fascinating.
But I don't want to keep you all day. I don't want to keep you from any engagements or appointments you might have.
Oh, I have no appointments whatsoever. I should love to hear your story if you are willing to relay it to me. And if you could make it worth your while, however you please, whatever payment you desire. I
For
do love a
these,
good story.
the price is steep for me. Do you know any good taverns?
Well, I can pay it.
Oh, the price of this story is just a drink or two while I tell. But I'll admit, I know a few, but I can't say I know the best. Anyone you'd recommend?
You only want a drink? Or two? Or several?
Oh, just while the story's being told, it's always good to have something to occupy your hands.
All right. Then you shall have your drink, sir.
Excellent.
You have a haunt of choice?
Oh, what are the options?
Why, wherever you like. I can have a carriage called here, and we may be taken wherever you see fit.
Just perches the ravenless shoulder. Hmm. I only know of. I only know the three, right?
You would know of the Golden Feather, which is like the bougiest hotel that you can find. There is the cafe near the university, but that's a cafe. And then there is, of course, the Rusty Anchor and the Tipsy Duck.
Right. Which I'm trying to think of which place is actually going to serve booze because that's a cafe, but it's also next to a college.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's let this be a local's choice. Like I said, I've only really been to two. I can't exactly say they're the best or
Mm-hmm.
worst. I know I can say one of them's the worst, but that's neither here nor there. Why don't I'll trust you with this?
Well, then, perhaps we should. You know what? I'll take you to the finest place I know, the Golden Feather, if that suits your fancy.
I've only heard of this place. I've really no idea what to expect, so I'm sure it'll be great.
It's only the finest place about. I did not think we would be ending up here today, so I'm going to see if I can find that map. Mm. Oh gosh, where is it? I'm having a hard time finding this map. Um, where are you? Okay, You know what? We'll just use this one as a placeholder. It'll do. Okay, now let me just upload it.
That will be fine.
Okay. And so Lady Rose, she steps out for a moment, and I mean, you can assume that she's going out to call for a carriage, and soon she will return and beckon you to follow.
All right. Well, now that I can see again, I'm going to be walking more or less normal still, pretending to be blind.
Okay. So the carriage that has been called is a fine thing to behold. It would seem to be a personal one, actually. And as soon as you're in, you guys will go down the road, and it's a very swift and smooth ride because you are in the one of the nicest and best kept areas of the city. And then finally, surrounded by fine houses and seemingly other important buildings, there will appear this large building, like many of the others in Osney, made of white stone with a blue tiled roof. And outside there is a large sign in gold letters that says the Golden Feather Hotel. And coming and going, there's nothing but the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. It is just full of the finest dressed people, nobles, with their maids and their footmen, fine carriages. It's just an absolute vision of dignity and wealth and prosperity coming and going from this hotel.
Sorry, I can't help but look at this and
And
just immediately think, this is the Knights of the Round Table.
I know, right? Well, I labeled this one council room. Not that you'll never necessarily see this one as a council room. For now, it is the hotel bar. So, Lady Rose, she will lead you, as if she has been here 1,000 times before, through the doors of the hotel and to the bar and the lounge. And it is decorated just beautifully, intricately, with only the finest upholstered chairs and furnishings from all across the world. And at her instant call, there is a server to ask what you would like. Whatever he drinks is on me.
Let's see how this goes, just to see how. It's 1, 2, and 2. All right. So before he does sit down, because like I said, he was pretending to be blind for the entire trip. And once he does sit down and they're more or less into 2, he is going to tell her, like I said, now that we're finally here, I'm going to ask my friend for a bit of help. And she'll notice that the bird's eyes like only glow faintly, but they do shimmer a bit. And that's when the bird is going to start doing like the little essential circle around, just looking everywhere. Even though he's not turning around, his face is going through the emotions of looking at everything that this place actually has.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as he's finished, he is essentially doing a full 180 on the entire place he's here. The bird is actually just going to hop onto his other shoulder before he's going to stop and give, for the first time, a actual view of who he's been talking to for this last bit of time. And it's I just rolled how well he's going to contain himself, and that was a 2. So he is very much and visibly reacting on his face, even though he's technically facing like just to the side of her, but his bird is very much looking at his new friend. And he is
Uh-huh. And
very
how is he
obviously gawking.
reacting?
It's that very open and obvious gawk of meeting someone you didn't expect to be that. Well, let's call it. I'm blanking on the word, damn it. But he's very much taken aback. And he'll stay like that for about 2-3 seconds before he like
Have I
snaps out.
shocked you in some way?
Sorry. And like he actually has to put his own hand over the bird's eyes and just move him back to the other shoulder to look somewhere else. Like I said, he lets me borrow his eyes on the occasion, because I imagine what things look like as they're described to me as I speak with someone. It's always an interesting reaction when I get to see them from what I imagined and what it is.
Have I shocked you?
Let's go with that. It's you. Yes, you have, and I mean no disrespect whatsoever. And he does actually bow. Well, there's what you imagine, and then there's what you see, and real thing's always best. But anyway, we agreed on a story. So if there's anything, drinks. I think
Indeed.
drinks are best.
Of course. Anything that you like.
It's
all on me.
Sure. What can they get here? Whatever they have that's what would be your usual on coming here, as you seem to have come here once or twice.
Oh, well, I enjoy mulled wine personally, from the countryside. Quite a rustic taste, but I do quite enjoy it.
Sure, we can start with that. I've tried something like that before.
All right. And no more has the order been made, and the server returns and very gracefully places the drinks down. And they are served in the absolute finest crystal glassware. Perfectly poured with a little garnish of mint.
All right.
And before we begin, I should know your name, shouldn't I?
Right.
Andre gets a sugar.
Sorry, you cut out. What's up?
No, I'm just talking to myself. Quantri's getting a sugar mama.
We'll see. We will see. This did not go the way I thought, and I rolled to see how he would react. Oh, he got that unfortunate punch drunk. Oh shit, she's hot. And I knocked into her and went into a fountain. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. So he's going to introduce himself once again.
So between all that, she did ask. Before we begin, oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure if you caught what I had said last. Sorry.
He'll introduce himself fully. Quadri Fin Essen.
Quadri. What an interesting name. It sounds like something you would see embossed in gold on the cover of a book. She delicately takes a sip of wine, her eyes just fixed on your eyes.
He's
as if you weren't seeing through the eyes of the raven.
He'll notice the raven is like, he's physically with his hand trying to get him to like stop looking at her. and just like also look around the room occasionally, but it just keeps going back to her. Don't make it obvious, man. Come on. You're the worst winged bird ever.
Your friend seems quite friendly.
Sorry, he tends to over focus on well, look, I'm not gonna. He just turns to him. Look, we both know you like shiny things. It's not an insult. It's just what it is. Like, and there's a small conversation of like growing and him talking. Did we not circle back twice that one round just because you thought you saw some gold or silver? It was just a rock. Yes, I still have them, but come on.
First time I've ever been referred to as a shiny thing.
Sorry, not what I meant. He meant. Sorry. Let me start all that over. The story.
Yes, the story.
And he'll just take the wine and look like he's gonna take a sip, and just turn ever so slightly and just start taking a very big gulp. And the first time he's ever tried anything that's not normal, like I don't want to say like toilet wine, but he's never had anything above the usual standard of like just above average, maybe.
This is his first taste beyond boxed wine.
Yeah. And he just took like a mouthful of it, trying to hide that he just gulped half this glass.
Well, it is the finest wine you ever did try. It has a delicate and rich, sweet flavor. It's a red wine, and quite tasty. And with the mulling spices, it has that rustic and sort of festive flavor that you might expect.
No, wouldn't expect it at all. He's just wondering how does that. There's a lot of taste in this that's supposed to get me liquored up. But yeah, no. He'll turn back and just say, "All right, so let's get that story." We settled on one then, didn't we?
Well, the story of how you procured your friend here would be a great place to start. Tripping over my words.
My friend here, like I said, he was more just a companion from, when I was offered my new lease on life. Sorry, I thought we were this story, but sure, I can tell you this one. It's not that, but it's not as exciting or interesting as the others.
Well, I can listen to more than one story, surely.
No, of course. Just don't want to get your hopes up for this one and disappoint. But it starts with my death.
Right, your death.
Yes. Well, let's start a bit before that. Let's call a young man, looked like me, didn't have these scars, could see, worked for a more or less small, medium-ish mercenary company. Did all the standard jobs, make ends meet as you will. But as things progressed, he began to notice that while on these jobs, he could help a bit more people out, even if it wasn't part of the job, but he could still do it. And he did. And it snowballed after that, and he started taking jobs specifically to see if he could help more people, which, unbeknownst to him at the time, stepped on a few people's toes. Got to the point where enough of them have come together to just snip this irritation in the bud, as it were. So in one of these more isolated jobs, he was taken. And instead of just outright ending him or disappearing him, accusing him of a crime and sending him off to the jails, they found themselves with an interesting contraption, supposedly, and never really confirmed. This was one of the failed or alternate prototypes of the way to rip the magic out of the people who have simply decided to not release it willingly. Problem with this one was it seemed to also rip out like bits of their soul, and most people just tend to die when that happens after a few days of torture. But that was more to the point. It was more as after that, as the man slowly died, and he wished, begged, or pleaded for anyone, for help. He heard an odd voice ask him what he would do for that chance. With nothing to lose and everything growing darker, he accepted. He said he'd do whatever they asked of him. And he didn't get a reply. Everything went dark, and he died there. And cut to about an unknown about a time later, I woke up in a ditch. No sight, no real feeling of how I was. Felt like I was drowning for half a bit until I realized I was halfway buried in mud. Got out of that. And that's when I saw my friend in a tree. Except I wasn't looking at him in a tree, I was looking at myself. And there was a pond next to me where I could see that reflection of what I was looking through, which was his eyes. That's how we first met. A little bit after that, I got to realize why I could do this, who it was that had given me this, and the job I was to fulfill. And so I set out on an interesting adventure. Though I did have a few memories start to shake loose a few days afterward. And a few more complications that I needed to take care of, still need to take care of. Like I said, that one's story for the next round. And he just finishes his drink.
Of course. She'll call over the next round.
I'm not the best mood setter, but it's a story you asked for.
Yes. And I must say, it's a rather fantastical one. Seems like a mystery, really.
I mean, I don't think
Strange
so.
and... Well, I find it quite fascinating. It seems like something you might read in a novel, really.
Maybe I'll make it one. See if anyone else shares the sentiment.
Are you sure you're not a bard? I think you could be one.
Trying to remember what the qualifications again for a bard.
Someone who can tell a good story or perform.
I'm not sure if that alone will do it. I know a few others who can tell good stories, but they have their professions. I'm currently studying in mine.
And what are you studying? Are you studying at the university, actually?
No, like I said, I don't know if it would do me any good. I have to start from the ground up. And he just taps to his eyes, his raven. This was all, like I said, this was a gift. We borrowed gift from someone else, so I'm not entirely sure if and when I complete my task, I would even keep it.
Quite sad.
I don't think so. I mean, I was given this chance, something to do, and reward for when I finish is apparently revenge for someone else who made the deal first. They get theirs. I
And
get
that
it.
sounds like.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Well, Lady Rose will lean back in her seat, face a little flushed from the wine, and then quite relaxed and entertained. She'll stare off into space a moment, and then sort of look back at you again. Well, that sounds like yet another story that I should very much like to hear. Over another round, of course.
Sure. But how about before that one, I'll give you one that'll lighten the mood up just a bit. I don't know if we want to
All right, then.
back to everyone else while I just tell them the fiasco that was the heist of the rescue of the maid. Overly embellished. Everybody is essentially Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's
Just
wonderful.
it's overly dramatic. Just everybody fought off a dozen half armies, and the betrayal at the end was just out of left field and really just broke our hearts.
Hold on, I gotta roll to see how she reacts to this.
And
This is gonna determine a
Yeah,
couple
that's
things here.
pretty big
Oh
info
my
to
God.
this
share.
battle, this didn't happen at the docks. We left the docks halfway through this. This was a battle on the high seas. It was betrayal, rescue.
Water dragon showed up and flew away on it or something like that.
Like we had to fight off a kraken halfway through. It was a temporary alliance, and then we got back to shore on a busted ass ship with half the crew gone. We freed the slaves. We rescued the maiden. We had to kill Echo and bring her back to be judged and killed again.
Dramatic.
And you've just got this woman absolutely hooked. She has scooted her chair right up against yours, and she is like in your face. Like she's been drinking wine this whole time and just eating up the story. She is just so into this.
He's been doing that too, but just to forget where he is and what's happening. He'll continue and do the over dramatic versions of almost everything we've done, and also the deeds he's heard about from these guys of the renowned prison break, and a couple of his own stories from the mercenary days that he can remember that aren't even he doesn't consider his own, but he's just telling them anyway. And that's likely how he's going to spend the rest of his time with her. I mean, at some point, and I just got to roll to see if he's drunk enough. Yeah, that's a 4. At some point, he's actually standing up on the table because he's not drunk enough to start using his magic to make an illusion, because he can major image the entire thing as dramatically as he'd want, but he's not blowing that cover. But he has stood up on the table and just starting to see if he can enthrall even more people into this story.
So currently, as the more this goes on, the bar actually continues to be quite empty. There are a few people who will come and go, but most of the time, and the later it gets, it will just be Lady Rose and you, and she is just eating out of the palm of your hand every word that you tell her.
Would I be rolling up
And
a check for this to see if I can get any people on board, or is it just us?
it's just you guys.
All right. Well, if it is just us, then I'm probably, because I rolled a 4, so I am probably just going to start throwing in that magic for the illusion just so you can see it better. And we do have that
Okay.
Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End ship battle for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it for me. I don't want to pop over to you
Okay.
guys.
Yeah, we can pop over to you guys if there's anything you want to do before we end it for tonight.
I don't think I had anything specific,
Yeah.
but I mean, I would be interested to see, because I think I'd share about maybe this should be a scene, but I think I would share about the whole interaction with Caroline. I
Uh-huh.
uh very I think his outlook on the situation is that he's like confused and uncertain because now he's kind of second guessing himself. Because again, like I don't know if this was the same position she was in when we last interacted, but this doesn't seem like the sort of position that you get for turning in a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's kind of second guessing what the situation was. And I think he's curious on whether he'll find her again in the cafe, and maybe she could also be a help to us, or maybe not.
Maybe. You never know.
Do we want to work that out, or did we want to end it here for tonight?
That might be something to see for next time. It is getting pretty late.
We can wait for next time. Next time on Tales or Heroes of Nessis. Will Quadri get himself a sugar mama? Will Nia figure out how to trust people and control her magic? And will Maxim figure out his emotional problems? Only way to find out is to tune in next week.
And where the fuck is Zimzu? Who knows?
Yep.
The
So
world
as soon as you
never
guys
know.
bust into Almon's palace, there's something you're going to notice. I'll let that surprise you before it happens.
He's just gonna. We're just gonna get to the tapestry to see what's going on. He's just gonna be like eating off of it like a table setting.
No, like when you guys rescue like the tapestry, you're going to notice that someone messled with one of the corners. There's just a picture of like Zimzu. Just
Zimzu and Echo just like
and
dancing
full of treasure
together.
and like some unknown partner, and they're just literally getting away.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
It literally says he robbed Elamon.
This was fun. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not see that going that way. Wow.
Neither did I.
Neither did I.
Now, if this does in fact become a love triangle, how awkward is that going to be?
Hella
I
awkward.
don't know.
I mean, more than likely, because I've only barely met this person. I only know that they're like an established noble with a title, and apparently they've got the money to stay at like would be like the 5 stars hotels if they choose. I have no idea.
No clue.